We are live, and I wanted to welcome you to a special holiday episode of PEEPSONALITY Live. I am your host for today, Melody from Melody in the Making on Instagram. I'm going to give a few seconds for people to kind of tune in and to settle down. But in the meantime, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I am a mother of two from Southern California, and I was a former teacher, currently stay-at-home mom, and I'm just taking my time doing crafts and DIYs and all the fun things, and I'm really loving it. Today we're going to be making a super fun PEEPS wreath that I have behind me here. If you've seen it on my page or on the PEEPS brand Instagram, this is so cute. It's such a showstopper. And I'm super excited to be crafting with PEEPS today. If you are just joining me now, again, I'm Melody from Melody in the Making, and welcome to another episode of PEEPSONALITY Live. While people are still kind of hopping on, I'm going to go through some of our materials for today, and then we'll jump right in onto the craft. So today for our wreath, we're going to start out with a wooden wreath form. You can also use an embroidery hoop. That works perfectly fine as well. I'm going to be using one that's a little bit larger than this, but I wanted to show you kind of what it looks like. Next up, we are going to be using some wreath picks. And these wreath picks are easily found either at your craft stores, or I got them online as well. So these ones are artificial. And then to attach them to our wreath hoop, we're going to be using our zip ties. You're going to need about maybe 10 to 12 zip ties for this, and these ones, just everyday run-of-the-mill zip ties, work perfectly. And then some popsicle sticks. You're probably wondering why we need popsicle sticks, but I will show you in just a minute. We're actually going to be using them in the middle portion right here, and I'll show you how to keep your peeps up and to keep them from falling down. And then, of course, we're going to need some fun little festive ornaments. I'm going to be using the similar color scheme that I did here, so reds, golds, and then a little bit of pink, because pink is my all-time favorite color. But you can definitely use whatever colors you want if you are more traditional, or if you like the fun pops of color like blues and greens and yellows. It's really up to you. I love that this craft can be super versatile. And then you're going to need your typical crafting supplies, so a nice pair of scissors. You're going to want some kitchen shears if you don't want your scissors to get sticky from cutting the peeps. And then, of course, some glue and hot glue. And then lastly, we're going to need some ribbon. So in the directions that are going to be posted on the PEEPS brand website and social channels, it says wire-edged ribbon. Today I'm going to opt for non-wire edge. It's really up to you. This is another way that you can kind of get creative with your wreath today. So I'm going to be using this pink striped ribbon. Okay, so hopefully everyone has come and joined me. It's just me today, so sadly I won't be able to read any of the comments, but I will be sure to have any questions addressed afterwards. Let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from today. I am from California, if you didn't catch that in the beginning, and I would love to know where you guys are all tuning in from. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. For the sake of time, I actually started this one already because the picks take a little bit of time, and we only have about 30 minutes to get the craft done, and I wanted to get to the good part, the peeps part. So I've already started this one. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I attached it. So on the back, I'm basically attaching them one by one, and I'm going to be layering the picks. So I didn't finish it all the way, so I can show you how I did that. You're going to take your pine pick, and the ones that I picked have wire in them, so I'm going to bend them slightly to kind of form to the shape of my wreath here. And then I'm basically going to layer it right on top. So I want them to overlap just a little bit, just so that the zip tie is not showing. So I'm going to go ahead and zip tie that. And then you'll notice on the zip tie, that little square part, you want that part in the back of your wreath. So that way it's just easier to hide that way, and it's not going to show up when you have your wreath all finished. And you're probably wondering why I chose to use zip ties over just hot glue, and honestly it's so much easier to use the zip ties for this specific wreath. For hot glue, you would be needing hundreds of sticks of hot glue to get it to hold together, just because the wreath form is round. Okay, so let me show you. I'm just tightening it to the wreath form. This is the back, and then that's the front. You're going to go ahead and just cut off the extra, and you want to make sure you cut off all of the extras so you don't have any extra like pointing pointy parts that are gonna get you when you're trying to put your wreath up. Okay, so as you can see, I added a wreath pick right there. And we're gonna go ahead and just add a few more. So on this side, I did about 6 of the wreath picks, and then on this side, we're gonna keep it pretty equal. So the reason I wanted to keep them halfway also is because obviously our peeps are gonna go around the top. So you only wanna go about halfway with your wreath picks. Okay, so I am super excited to be crafting with Peeps today. They are an all-time favorite of our families. We enjoy them pretty much every holiday. It's kind of funny because my friends messaged me and were like, I didn't know Peeps had holiday versions. They thought it was just for Easter. And I was like, ooh, you are missing out because the holiday Peeps are where it is at. And today I actually just found out they came out with a double hot chocolate flavor, and I'm so excited to try those and find them, include them in my hot chocolate boards or hot chocolate station for this season. Okay, so I added another one there. I'm hoping you can see this. This is again the back. We're just gonna cut off the extra. And Peeps also has a new shape for this season, and it's the stocking. I have yet to find one in my stores, but I'm so excited. I'm on the hunt for them already. Okay, and then you're gonna basically continue to add until there's just about an inch and a half gap in the center. So I think I might add either 1 or 2 more. And the good thing also about using the zip ties is if you kind of go too far, you can actually slide them. So you can kind of slightly adjust them, which you cannot do if you hot glued them, right? Once you hot glue them, they're kind of stuck on there. Okay, so I'm adding another one, like so. And crafting with Peeps is something that I kind of just started doing this year. I love it, it's so fun. You can make a ton of things. If you go on the Peeps brand website, they actually have a ton of ideas for crafts. They also have a bunch of recipes. This craft is going to be posted on there later. If you're just hopping on now and you missed maybe the beginning, it's going to be recorded and saved, and you guys can access it later if you want to try this craft. All right, so I'm going to cut off the excess. Okay, how's it looking? All right, so we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 is where we want it right now. And I may or may not add one more, let's see. The other thing about this craft is that if you're layering and you notice you wanted some fullness to the back of it, you can just kind of stick it wherever and go ahead and use another zip tie. So there's kind of no bounds to your creativity. So I'm gonna do it here. I'm adding one kind of in the back, but all you have to do is basically find a space for your zip tie to fit, and it will go right onto your wreath form. You just want to make sure that you are not like having your piece show, because then it's kind of hard to hide later on. So you don't want your zip tie to show. So I'm going to bend the wire just a bit. Okay. And I cannot believe it is going to be December tomorrow. I actually have been ready and prepped for the holidays for a while now. I'm a little bit of a slow decorator though. Like, I will decorate throughout the month of November, and then by December 1st, I'm like ready to enjoy it. So my tree is almost finished. I have like a few things left. Let me know in the comments what kind of decorator you are. Do you wait until after Thanksgiving? I know a lot of people that do that, and that's totally fine too. But I just love the holidays so much. So I like to basically be decorated after Halloween. All right, so I'm gonna add this one last pick. Okay, so now that we have that all ready to go, we are going to go ahead and create kind of like a base with our popsicle sticks, so that way our trees in the middle have a backing to them, because we don't want them to fall over. So you're going to take 3 popsicle sticks and you're basically going to make kind of like a little arrow, okay? So a little arrow, you're kind of going to see where you want it to sit. You're going to be cutting off the extra at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and use my hot glue gun over here and kind of glue my arrow together. And the pieces that you cut off, you're actually going to want to keep. And that is because since I am layering my popsicle sticks, when I glue them onto my wreath form, there's going to be a little bit of a gap. So you can kind of wedge those in there, the pieces that you cut off. So you can wedge them in there and then they'll be nice and stable. Okay, so it's kind of tricky to see, but I'm going to be gluing this onto the back portion of my wreath. So it'll give my little peep triangle something to kind of lay on or to stand on. So that way it's nice and stable. Let me flip that guy over. Let's see. Like I said, my family loves crafting with Peeps. Just this past Easter, my daughter and I actually did some fun Peeps Play-Doh. She loved that. She actually was super excited about that because while we were making them, she got to eat all the extra Peeps. So she was definitely a fan of that. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly kind of just measure before this adheres. I'm gonna use 3 on the bottom and 2 at top. I didn't use one on the top to kind of complete a pyramid just because I didn't want it to be too tall in the middle. So right now I'm kind of just measuring where I want it to go on my wreath. I will show you guys in a minute. And then you can go ahead and mark it with a Sharpie or a pencil so you know kind of where you should be cutting. All right, I'm gonna show you guys this. Okay, so I basically marked on the bottom where I'm gonna be cutting the excess. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And you wanna kind of cut it in the shape of your wreath. The other 2 on the outer corners are gonna have more of a rounded shape. Okay, it's a little bit tough. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue. You're gonna use lots and lots of hot glue for this, so that way it sticks to your wreath really nice. And then like I said, you're gonna be using the little pieces that you cut. I'm gonna be cutting them in half just so I can stack them on top of each other. So I'm gonna stack these guys like that. And then use more hot glue to kind of adhere it on there. Oh, my other hoop just fell. And one actually interesting fact that I learned about Peeps recently is that they've been around for almost 7 decades. That is like bananas to me. Crazy. I mean, crazy in a good way, because what kind of brand nowadays has that continuity, right? Okay, so there's that. And where'd my other piece go? And then my third piece to kind of stabilize. Again, feel free to use all the hot glue to get that to stay. It's okay if some of it on the bottom shows up a little bit or kind of goes past your wreath edge because it's going to be covered up by the bow. Oh, there goes my Alexa. Okay, so let me grab this piece. And again, if you're just joining us today, I am Melody doing PEEPSONALITY Live, our special crafting edition, and we're making a fun little Peeps wreath today. Okay, so I'm using all my glue. I'm gonna definitely have a good sturdy base. These Peeps over time, since it is a craft and you're not going to be keeping it, you know, in an airtight container, they're going to harden a little bit. So they will be a little bit stiff, which is good for your wreath because you want it to stay. Okay, so I'm just adding just some more hot glue to keep that guy nice and stable. Okay. So now we're gonna hop on over. We have about 15 minutes left. We're gonna move on to our Peeps section. So when you are choosing Peeps, of course you wanna choose the best of the best. These Christmas tree ones are my favorite holiday ones. They also have these super cute little snowmen, so cute. I'm going to be doing an alternating pattern like I did with this wreath over here. So I started with a tree, a gingerbread man, and then a snowman. You can use whatever you want. If you want to do all trees, if you want to do all snowmen or do a pattern, it's really up to you. The key with adding your peeps to our wreath is that you're going to want to hot glue the wreath and not directly on the peep. So you want to add the glue to your wreath. So our wooden wreath form. And then you're gonna kind of let it cool for a few seconds, right? You don't wanna put it right away because it is going to melt just a little bit. And then you're gonna go ahead and attach your peeps, kind of pressing it gently and then letting it sit. So this part should be pretty quickly. The kids can help with this part. Obviously, if you're using a glue gun, the adult is going to be handling that portion. But the kids can definitely go ahead and choose the peeps that you stick on there. That's always a lot of fun. So we're going to do a little snowman next. And with the peeps that you're picking, I actually like to keep the part where you cut on the inside, so it's kind of a little bit more uniform that way. Okay, so pressing that on. And then you're just basically going to keep going. So these cinnamon peeps are also another favorite because they just smell so good. There's something about cinnamon that basically just reminds you of the holidays, right? I'm going to add hot glue and my peep. Okay, and as you find you are putting your peeps on there and they start kind of tilting around, later on, when we go in to fix it, you can always hot glue parts of them together so they kind of stay nice and aligned. Okay, so we did a tree, we did a snowman, a gingerbread man, and now we are back to tree. So I'm actually gonna try to do two at once. And for this, you're gonna be using quite a bit of glue, so you wanna have your glue sticks on hand. That way, you're not running around trying to look for glue sticks while you're trying to get your peeps on there. Okay, so that guy, and then this guy, and then back to our snowmen. Snowmen are so cute. Another favorite holiday peeps of mine is the candy cane chicks. If you've never tried those on s'mores, you are missing out. Those are so good when you put them in like s'mores with the graham crackers and the chocolate. Oh my gosh. That's another like classic holiday flavor, right? Is peppermint or candy cane. So good. Okay. So it's funny because when I was making this the first time, my husband and my daughter were both trying to pick at my peeps, and I was like, you guys, I need this for a project. Like, hold on a minute, you guys. So let's see, this guy's sliding a little bit because it's melting just a bit because our glue is a little bit hot. Trying to go warp speed for you guys so that way we can move on to our ornaments. So I'm adding kind of big chunks of glue and then trying to keep my little pattern here. So we have our gingerbread men and then a little snowman. Okay. And then another kind of interesting fact about Peeps is that they're actually the #1 selling candy, or non-chocolate candy, I should say, for Easter. Of course, right? Like, it's not Easter without Peeps. Just like for me, it is definitely not the holidays until these holiday Peeps come out. All right, so I'm on to my last little peep here, and it is going to be a little gingerbread friend. Again, you would want some kitchen shears for this because they do get sticky. I mean, they are Peeps, they are marshmallows, so that is expected. All right, so let me show you guys what I have so far. So this is our wreath so far. Oh, let me pick over here. All right, so this is what we have so far. We have our part in the middle that we're going to glue our peep trees on just right now in just a few seconds. that's what you should have. Again, if you were just logging on with us and you missed the first part of this live, that is totally fine because you can find this on the peepsbrand.com website. It'll be posted on there for you to kind of refer back to, especially if I am going too fast. I am trying to get this done in our little time frame here, so don't you worry, it will be all there for you. And let me get this little peep guy down. Okay, so we have all our beautiful peeps down, and we're going to be moving on to our ornaments. So for your ornaments, you're gonna wanna just kind of lay them out, eyeball it, see where you want them to go. I used a couple ornaments, let's see. I think I used about, I wanna say 8 to 10 ornaments for this. So you're basically kind of gonna see, I glued them right at the ornament tip and I embedded them right into our pine tree base. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. And you wanna try to not have that part show, the little ornament part. So you're gonna try to attach that to maybe behind some of the pine picks and hold it in place. Take my other red one. Again, lots and lots of glue, so you have this for years to come. There we go. Another thing I like about this part is you can definitely customize the amount of ornaments you can add to this. You can go with a few. I just added a few on my PEEPS wreath over here, just because I really wanted the peeps to shine. But you can add as much or as little as you want. Of course you want your peeps to shine though, so I suggest only adding a couple. Okay, so I have a gold one over there, and you want to keep it symmetrical as well. So if you're gonna add one to one side, you're gonna add this kind of the same amount and maybe the same colors on the other side. And then I have my pink. Let me know in the comments if you are a fan of traditional Christmas colors, or if you're like me and you kind of love the different pops of color. It's funny because one of my family traditions is actually changing up the tree every year. I learned this from my mom. So Mom, if you're watching this, I learned this from you. She does a different tree every year. And she does recycle ornaments, so she doesn't go out and buy like a bunch of new ornaments, but she definitely buys a few new ornaments every year, and she changes up her color scheme. So every year she'll like call me up and say, "Oh, Melody, what color is your tree this year?" And I'll say, "What color is your tree this year?" And we'll do like a big reveal of it. It's always so fun to see what we came up with. My tree this year actually is somewhat traditional with some reds and greens, but I of course had to incorporate my favorite color, which is pink. And then I actually threw in some like lime greens in there just to make it a little bit more modern this year. I thought that was fun. Okay, so I'm down to my last 2 balls here. Let's see. Oops, there we go. So yeah, I'm still waiting to see what her tree is gonna look like this year. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see what she came up with. And then hopefully we can even add a little PEEPS wreath in her little decor this year. I'll probably end up gifting this to her, to be honest. Okay, so let me turn this around. Let me show you guys what we're working with. Here is our wreath. Again, like I said, the bottom part is gonna show the popsicle sticks, but that's totally fine because your bow underneath is going to hide it. We're gonna go ahead and attach that bow now. If you have any questions, again, put them in the comments. Feel free to message the PEEPS brand Instagram or my Instagram at Melody in the Making. I'm always open to any messages and I'll try my best to respond. Yeah, if you have any questions, just let us know. This will also be posted again on the PEEPS brand website, along with, you can find tons of recipes and crafts. I'm like gonna go on there afterwards and kind of plan out which crafts I wanna do and which treats. Okay, so we have our bow, and I'm basically just gonna glue it to the back here. Lots and lots of glue. And then I'm just gonna press and I'm gonna hold a little bit. So let's see. And bows always remind me of wrapping. Wrapping is another favorite thing that I love about the holidays. Wrapping presents, sitting down after kind of a long day. It's kind of therapeutic, to be honest. Like crafting in general is therapeutic, but wrapping, I feel like wrapping during the holidays is like a different level. All right, so that's about in. I'm gonna go in and I'm kind of going to clean up some of my peeps. So I see one that's kind of tilting outwards. So I'm just gonna glue those together so that way they all kind of are in line together. Okay. So for this one, you are gonna have to glue directly on the peep, which it will melt a little bit, but that's okay for this part because you're not adhering it to the wreath. Okay, so let me see if there's any other ones that are sticking out. Oh, this one right here. All right. And these Peepsonality episodes, they've had a couple of them so far. So definitely go check out the other ones. They just did one recently for fall that had these delicious looking whoopie pies that I definitely have to try and maybe even adapt to a holiday peep flavor. That would be really good. Okay, so let's look at our little peep wreath. It's so cute. I'm so excited how it turned out. So you're gonna have some glue strands, that's totally fine. They clean up really easily. What I did to hang it is I basically attached a loop of fishing line to the top, and you can basically hang it on the wall, on your door, command hook would be fine. So these are really versatile. Again, when you're picking your peeps, you obviously wanna pick the best of the best, even though they're all super cute. But you want to try to keep that white part on the inside. Since I was kind of short on time, I was basically just sticking my peeps on here for you guys to see because I didn't want you to miss out on any steps. Again, if you have any questions, this Peepsonality Live episode is going to be available for viewing later on. Make sure that if you try this craft out today that you are tagging Peeps brand on Instagram and also hashtag Peepsonality Live. We would absolutely love to see your creations. I want to see how creative you guys get with the peeps that you use and the colors that you use, and it's just so exciting. I wanted to wish you guys a very happy holidays. That basically wraps it up for me. I hope you had fun watching our Peepsonality Live episode today. And again, I'm Melody from Melody in the Making, and I hope to see you again soon.